What up? What up, everyone out there? Yeah, Big Zeke in the building as well. Welcome to the Opps SportsCast, everyone. Yeah, we got our man Josh back. He took a 1 week sabbatical, but he's back with us in the building. Hey, if it's your first time, make sure that you like and subscribe. Hit the little notify me button as well, so that way you can make sure that you get notified when we go live. But we go live every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. So make sure that you join the chat. If it's your first time here, make sure that you hit us up in the comments whenever we're talking about sports conversations. We always like to get your input. Your comment may make the show, and hopefully it will make the show better. So we got a lot to get into today, and we got to start off with just introducing ourselves. Josh, why don't you just start us off with you?
All right. I'm Josh from Eastside.
It's the one and only Dave in the cut.
It's your boy Big Z coming back at you one more again.
Absolutely, and it's your boy Chris Peasy in the building for the radio listening audience on the Opps SportsCast Network. So I just want to first, before we get into the topics, because we got a lot to talk about today, we're going to be talking about the rising demand for bullpens in the game of baseball. It is baseball season after all, even though we got the NBA playoffs. But if you're here, you might hear me rant a little bit because my Knicks are doing terrible. So we're going to talk about the NBA playoffs as well.
Wait. Our Knicks.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
Our
well,
Knicks.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they keep playing like this. They just may be your Knicks. You know what I mean? But we'll see about that. But yeah, we're gonna get into some serious topics as well. Talk about mental health and the impact that it has on all sports professional players. And so hopefully we'll have some deep topics to kind of get into here. Dave, why don't you shout out our sponsor real quick before we get into it?
Okay, let's get it. We want to give a shout out to Opposition Radio. Opposition Radio is a 24-hour internet radio station that offers Christian hip hop, EDM, R&B, reggae, Latin, and pop music. Be sure to check out the amazing artists in rotation by going to the opsradio.live from any internet browser. Opposition Radio, motivation to stand firm. Big shout out to Opposition Radio.
All right, the ops.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. So I hope everybody is having a good week this week.
Yes, sir. I'm playing wounded today, fellas. I'm the opposite of Anthony Rendon today. For a little context for the viewers, man. So if y'all haven't noticed, man, since like episode 1, I got this thing going on with my eye, and no, Liz Jones did not give me the 2-piece special. I had cataract surgery last year, and my eye has been giving me a problem ever since. So your boy had to get an injection in his eye today. I got my first one back in December, and my eye is just like they got me looking like Rocky Balboa, the black Rocky Balboa at that. So I'm here though, man. You know what I'm saying?
Trooper.
I'm gonna play the full 162, Z.
Let's do it,
bro. Did you see, for context, because you're making fun that Liz ducked you in the eye or something, bro? Did you see what happened to the French president Macron when he was
man, his wife mushed him, yo.
Off the plane?
Yeah.
He
like, miss me with that. Miss me
for
with
the
that.
podcast audience out there that follows Candace Owens, man, she swears that Macron's wife is actually a dude. And so it's just feeding the conspiracy, man. It's crazy.
Yo, did you see how his face flew though when she mushed him?
Yo, she
might be some truth to it, man.
And then he turned around and was waving to the crowd.
A lot of truth. I mean, my man Macron's wife, I forget her name or his name right now, whatever it may be. But like, that was his school teacher. Like when he was a kid, like they like hooked up when he was like 16, 17.
What?
It's craziness. Yeah. You gotta look into that, man. It's some craziness.
No way.
That's bananas. I heard about it, bro. It's a scary situation nonetheless.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I got hooked on that. I went down that little rabbit hole when Candace Owens was talking about that. I was like, yo, this is wild. This is wild.
That's nuts.
Anyways, let's jump right into it. That's kind of a weird segue. Go ahead and throw up our first topic, and we'll. For those of you who are new, joining us, what we do is we take a vote from 1 to 5 to show how much you agree with a certain topic, and then we'll just jump right in. But by all means, in the chat, let us know how you feel. So right now we're going to be talking about bullpen. In the MLB, starting pitchers now average less than 6 innings per start, forcing bullpens to do more. This trend, along with 6-man rotations, is bad for the sport. All right. So let's throw the 1 through 5 up. 1, 2, 3. Got Josh at a 2. We got Dave at a 4. Me and Zeke are both at a 5.
Yeah.
All right. All right. 10 toes down. Zeke, hey, why don't you start us off, man?
Yeah, so this has been kind of like a pet peeve of mine when it comes to baseball and the recent trend of how they treat pitchers. Like I kind of miss the days of watching somebody go out and throw a complete game shutout, 147, 150 pitches, with no problem. A lot of times I think they handle these pitchers these days with kid gloves, because I think they have to because the art of pitching has been lost. Now everybody just wants to go up and um, it used to be where like your closer would come in with the 98, 99, 100 mile an hour fastball, and that's cool if you know you're throwing the 3 to 5 hitters a night. Um, I don't want that for my starter because you can't maintain that type of velocity. And um, like I always hearken when I talk about this topic to people. Greg Maddux,
Yeah.
one of my favorite pitchers of all time.
Yeah.
That man could barely break 90 miles an hour with a fastball, but he go out. They literally named it the Maddox, where he would throw a complete game with less than 100 pitches,
Yes, sir.
and he'd go out there and do. I mean, you look at Greg Maddux. You see him off the field. He's chill. He got his glasses on. He looks like your local library janitor, but
Banker.
he was a beast on the mound. Like he didn't throw 100 miles an hour. He was throwing 89, 88, 87 with movement. Um, he knew that he didn't have the velocity, but he could put the ball wherever. You watch highlights. Eddie Perez is back there holding the ball, holding the mitt, and the mitt doesn't move. He didn't have to frame any pitches because Maddox put it right where he wanted it every time. I think if it's nice to have 100, 102, 103 in your bag, but that shouldn't be your main weapon because major league hitters, you throw it in 103, they'll hit it out 123. You keep throwing fastballs, they're gonna time it up. But you throw some wrinkles in there, you learn how to pinpoint. You throw a changeup, you throw a curveball, you throw a slider. You learn the art of pitching again. You can get your pitchers to go 7, 8, 9 innings, especially with how much money they're making these days. I mean, Max Fried just signed what, 218 mil or something like that. I don't want him going five and dive every night and putting the onus on the bullpen, especially if I'm a Yankees fan, because dang, we got our big acquisition. What's his name, Dave?
Devin Williams.
Devin Williams, dude from Milwaukee. Every time he comes out there, he's giving up a run or two. Like
Bro, we was up 3-0 last night. They brought him in
and
the
won a
ninth.
nail biter. I saw that
Yeah,
when I heard the highlight. I said, "Dang, Dave was throwing something at the TV on that one."
Bro, I was
like,
dying.
I shouldn't have to depend on my bullpen to get us through 4 innings every night. I miss the days where like you had your starter was going to go out there for 6, 7. They named it a quality start. A quality start is 6 innings with three earned runs or less. I mean, and even that standard is low. I mean, that's a 4.50 ERA. If you ask me, that's trash. But that's what they deemed a quality start, and guys aren't even getting that anymore.
Right.
It's 5 innings and they're gone. I watched Spencer Strider. He hit 90 pitches, and they're like, "Oh, you got to go." He was pitching a great game, and they pulled him out of the game and brought the bullpen. And I'm like, well, whatever chance we had of holding on and coming back was just gone because these bullpens aren't what they used to be. So I don't like the way the teams are handling pitching these days because it's like these pitchers are paying the price for it. You get these young prospects, they're coming in. Like I watch Paul Skeens pitch, and I'm like, I love watching him pitch. But dang, how long before we get the news, breaking news? Paul Skeens, Tommy John.
Yep.
We lost Spencer Strider last year. He hot young pitcher.
Yep.
The best thing since sliced bread. 200, 300 strikeouts. Next thing you know, Tommy John.
Yep.
What the heck? Shohei Ohtani. He's not pitching because he had Tommy John surgery. And this was
He
his
had two
second one.
surgeries, right? Two or one.
Yeah. So I mean it's getting to the point where if you're gonna pay these pitchers all this money, I expect my ace and even my number two and number three guy go out there and get me at least 6, 7 innings. It shouldn't be all right, 5 innings, 90 pitches. And what I hate is when the analytics have taken over the game where you can have a guy throwing a shutout, dominating, but
Yep.
he's about to go through the lineup for the third or fourth time. Well, we got to get him out of there. No, let him pitch.
That's it.
Imagine trying to pull Randy Johnson or Justin Verlander out in their prime because they're about to go through the lineup the third or fourth time. You tell Tom Glavine you're taking the ball from him because you're going through the lineup for the fourth time, man. You get your head ripped off on the mound, manager or not. So yeah, they gotta change how they're dealing with these pitchers. Take care of your starters, and not by only allowing them to go 5 innings, but tell them, yo, when you have to reach back and go full throttle, go for it. But I would rather have you at 90% effort for 7 innings than 100% effort for five.
Amen.
Yeah, Josh, throw my graphic up there to Zeke's point. Um, we've seen a trend because I was just thinking about this the other day when I was watching baseball, and I'm thinking like, man, like how far we've come. Like pitching a complete game was always special, but um, it used to be like, all right, well, he only made it eight, or, all right, well, he only could do seven. But that's what you had, the setup man and you had a closer. Those were defined roles. Almost every team had a setup man and a closer. But now, setup man and a closer, if that's all you got on your squad, that's just not cutting it because you need someone to pitch the fifth most games, the sixth, the seventh, and now setup man, which is typically defined as the eighth inning, and the closer, which is typically defined as the ninth inning. And so look at this stat on your screen. MLB complete games in the regular season from 2021 to 2001 to 2021. We went from 2001, which was probably low historically. Remember, Major League Baseball has been around since the 1800s, bro. Uh, where we had nearly 200 complete games a year, all the way down. It started trickling all the way down to now, where in 2021 there was only 33. And if I remember correctly, I think it was last year where we only had 28, I want to say, complete games, which to me that seemed high, which is crazy. But that's kind of where we're at. And I think the hesitancy is that we're getting to an era where we're seeing more and more of these players come down with Tommy John surgery, and they're trying to nurse these people that they're paying so much money to because they don't want to lose them. But I mean, gosh, man, I mean, how the heck did we have hundreds of years, literally, of Major League Baseball, and this seems to be a new phenomenon to me, where we're having all these players have Tommy John surgery. And so I was looking it up, and it was interesting to me. Tommy John surgeries are increasing, and it's even among young players now. And it's supposed to be noted because of the increase of velocity, and I think that's what Zeke was saying. But it's also because of lack of proper rest. That's what is what they're calling it. But in 2023, even with all this rest, I mean, sheesh, we're not doing complete games anymore. We had about 35% of the active pitchers in Major League Baseball had undergone Tommy John surgery. And for those who don't know, Tommy John surgery is where, your arm basically, essentially, there's a ligament there that just kind of gives up, right? And then you have to like get a complete reattachment, or you got to get it repaired. But we had players throwing hard before. Nolan Ryan never had Tommy John surgery. There's plenty of players in history that have pitched their whole careers and pitched 150 something pitches. It actually started when I was seeing one of those stats. MLB has like these commercials in between their games on the app where it showed a game. where David Cone pitched like 147 pitches.
Yeah, man.
And I'm like, David Cone pitched 147 pitches? And my man was like, he wasn't like the hardest thrower ever. You know what I mean? But check this out, just for some context, just to kind of prove why I'm thinking like I voted like a 5, is when you go back into the history, the number of complete games has greatly reduced. Who leads the major leagues all time in complete games? Cy Young. The award for the best pitcher of the MLB season is named after him, Cy Young. 749 complete games. That might be all the complete games since the year 2000. Almost, not quite, right? But that's crazy,
I
right?
mean, you
That
never
man
know.
alone. But you don't see anyone on that list. I don't even know who Pud Galvin is, but he's number 2. Tim Keefe, Kid Nichols, Walter Johnson rounding out the top 5. I don't
Big train.
recognize any of these names from
You don't know who
recent
Walter
memory.
You
Johnson
don't know
is?
who Walter Johnson is?
Come on, man.
I have heard of Walter Johnson,
Big
but
Train. Come on now.
I've never heard of Kid Nichols or Tim Keefe. I've never
Me
heard of
Nah,
them.
either.
those are black and white days.
Right. They sound
Pud
like they were dentists or
Galvin. I never heard of that.
They were
And so,
janitors and plumbers.
something,
and,
man.
and so, who's the active guys? Who's the active career game complete game leader? It's probably not difficult. It's got to be someone that's really old and still pitching. It's Justin Verlander.
Verlander? Yeah,
Yeah. Guess how many complete games he has?
I don't know.
I'll say, let's see.
I'm cheating.
I'm gonna
Take
say
a guess.
28.
You're close. It's 26.
Okay.
26.
Wow.
And that man is what? How old is he now? 42? 40 something like that, right?
Is it
And
Something
so,
like that.
yeah, the top 6, I mean, hey, shout out to Sandy Alcantara. He's pretty young and he's got 12.
That's the name I was gonna mention, and I was gonna say I was surprised at how low his number was because one of his claims to fame was he would go out there and finish what he started. He was known for the complete game. I look and he has 12. I'm like, dang,
But didn't he have
that's
Tommy
it.
John last year?
Yeah, he got
Yeah,
hurt,
he did.
but
And
he's
so,
been pitching for years, and his peak season was 6 complete games. Like I thought it would have been more than that.
yeah. And so I don't really see anyone even approaching Justin Verlander's record of 26 games. I don't see anyone that will be able to accomplish that. Not when you have to navigate a lineup 3, sometimes 4 times in an MLB game and somehow keep it less than 100 pitches. Because as soon as you hit that number, they're calling foul if the manager doesn't yank you out the game. They're saying
Well,
that's
here's the
abuse,
problem. It goes back to the art of pitching. Like
Mhm.
103 is nice, but it's hard to control.
right?
Like I would rather see somebody throw, all right, you got 95 in your bag, 95 low and away on the paint. That's hard to hit. 103 down the middle, that can get rocked to the upper deck.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
control it's not just throwing, it's about pitching. We got a lot of throwers right now. We got flamethrowers. I want pitchers.
Right. But I think to your
Right.
point, Zeke, and I won't trample on much of Dave's time. I'll let him go
My
next.
bad, Dave. Josh,
Uh,
my
Good.
bad.
but
I'm
I'll
gonna
just
be
say to
quick.
your point, I
Oh,
think
yeah.
Maddox actually said this. He was talking about like, hey, once you establish a baseline of speed, that's fast. Whatever your fastball is, that's your baseline. If it's 89, if it's 91, that's now fast. Anything that you change up off of that baseline tricks the hitter, and that's all you
Yep.
need. You know,
We
I
hear it
forget
all the
who's
time. Somebody comes in with 93 miles an hour. Well, they just came off of a breaking ball or a changeup, so that 93 miles an hour looks like 98. It plays
That's
faster.
exactly it. And someone said, it was there like, you tell me when you're at the plate, the difference between a 95 mile and a 99. Like, how do you know the difference? Like, you can't tell real time. You know what I mean? And so it's just, I think they're overextending themselves, but I won't trample anymore on Dave's time. Yeah, Dave.
All right. So I was at a 4. I mean, you pretty much wrapped it up, Peasy. It's the reason we don't have the complete games anymore is guys aren't lasting as long. Obviously, they're not conditioned enough to be able to handle what they're putting out. So they go out there and they gas themselves every start, throwing 98, 99 and above, and then if they're on a 5-man rotation, they got 4 days of rest. You rarely see a 6-man rotation. But unless it's in the playoffs, it gets even shorter. You see what I'm saying? Because they're trying to get those top guys to come back around quicker. So, God forbid, a young guy who throws gas uh, is on a good team that ends up going into the playoffs and having a long run, because what's going to happen is he's going to start off in a five-man rotation, 4 days rest. Then he's going to go to the playoffs where he's going to get picked to be in probably a 4-man rotation, right? And then God forbid they go deep and they get pushed to a game 7 and they need him to come. If he's the ace, they need him to come back early, and he jumps in on 3 days rest. You know what I'm saying? And then has to jump into another series right after that. So the problem is this: everybody is touting these guys. He throws gas. That's the new thing. He throws gas. I heard cat on MLB, Mark DeRosa. Says his name DeRosa, right?
Mm.
He was bragging about this kid who was throwing 102 in a game, and he said he was throwing 102 and it had cut. Okay, so if anybody knows anything about a cut fastball, which a lot of people probably don't, you have to do something to the ball to make it cut. So if you're already throwing over 100 and you're throwing just a straight fastball, that's just a 4-seam grip, right? But then if you're throwing 102 with cut, that means that you're giving some type of slider motion to make that ball cut, which means it involves your wrist and your elbow.
Mm.
They keep doing that, and their career is going to be very short. They're knocking on Tommy John's door. I'm not impressed with these guys. All of these guys, like, oh, he throws 100, he throws this, he throws that. Have you guys seen, first of all, what happens to the human body when it gets hit by a 100-mile-per-hour fastball? It's not pretty. I got a picture of it. I'll see if I could pull it up before Josh is done with his take. But it's not pretty. Aroldis Chapman hit a cat in the ribs with a 101-mile-an-hour fastball, and the dude's side looked like it had a moon crater in it. It's not pretty. So you get these guys, man. Like, sure, you can throw hard, you can throw over 100, but A, can you control it, and B, can you come back from it, and C, can you survive Tommy John? So I'm not impressed with guys like Skeens and with them, throwing hard. I want them to be pitchers. I don't want them to be throwers. And so that's where we're at right now. That's why these guys are not throwing complete games, because they're gassing out by 6, or the manager is too afraid to keep them in there past the third time in a rotation. So
yeah,
there you have
Josh,
it.
you took the opposite side of that. Did we change your mind, or you're still there?
No, I'm still there. I'm looking at this from the perspective of the player, right? You guys gave this from the perspective of efficiency, and also getting back to the art of pitching, as Zeke called it, right? So
Yeah.
I understand that. I do get that perspective, but I'm looking at it from the side of the player and the organization. You guys said it. The dollar bill for these players is just going up and up and up. These guys are getting paid massive contract deals to throw fast, throw accurate, and strike guys out. And I'm looking at it from that perspective of it's the business side of protecting the asset. And I feel as though that a 6-man rotation, right? Even though I don't understand the whole ins and outs, and Dave helped clarify a little bit of what the 6-man rotation looks like, even going deep into the playoffs. But I believe that the pros are literally there to have the potential for depth, where you can have your star pitchers get the rest, and there is some data, some survey to prove that with more rest, they're saying that you can raise your xFIP, right? An xFIP, that it's improved. I don't know what that means,
Neither
but
do we, bro.
I'm
Nah,
seeing
bro, you
data.
pulling out
I'm
some
seeing
Go cook,
data.
Josh, cooking
sabermetrics.
today, man. Cook.
While it's marginal and not necessarily 100% due to the rest, the data seems to point to pitchers being slightly more effective with more time off. So if the data's at least pointing to it, right? And these organizations are trying to avoid the Tommy Johns. And to Dave's point, I was watching a video of this one dude. He was coaching like his son on how to throw different pitches. And I didn't realize the art of pitching. There literally is, where you're not only throwing that elbow, throwing that arm, but also twisting your wrist at the same time.
Mhm.
You do that for 100 pitches a game, throwing at 100 miles an hour. Of course, you're going to need surgery. And
Yeah, man.
so, if you can rest your guys and get that productivity out of them 1, 2, 3 games out of a week, I see it being valuable. Go ahead, Zeke.
So the pitching motion in baseball is not a natural motion. Your arm is not supposed to do what pitchers make it do.
Correct.
Josh, if you got a chance, man, I put that picture in the over in the media files of that Chapman fastball did to that young man's ribs. If you want to pull that up there,
See if we can do that.
just to kind of give people a little glimpse of what we're talking about. Like, throwing hard is one thing, control is a whole other thing, man. But yeah, that the human arm was not designed to do what these guys are out there doing. Check that
Dang.
out.
Dang.
Yeah, it does look like a crater. But I remember even getting hit. Like I've seen people get hit in the head with like softballs and baseballs, and they got stitches on their body, bro.
Yeah, man. Crazy.
So, anyways, I think that was a good topic. Tell us how you feel in the chat. Whether or not you agree or disagree. Let's jump into the next topic, Josh, and keep it moving. I believe it's the NBA one.
Yes, it is.
Listen, I don't really want to talk on this too long. Maybe 12 minutes on this topic, and then we'll jump into the third conversation because we went long on the first one.
Talk on this. Uh-oh. We got playback.
My bad.
It's all good.
Oh, okay.
That was
All
me.
right, no problem.
Oh, you monitoring? That's cool.
Yeah, we'll get into this.
Just told me to jump into the chat, so I'm about to jump into the chat.
Oh, okay. So NBA playoffs. Oklahoma City Thunder and the Indiana Pacers each have a 3-1 series lead. Oklahoma City and the Timberwolves are duking it out right now in the NBA Conference Finals. If each team wins one more game, Pacers against the Knicks, Oklahoma City against the Timberwolves, this would be the most boring matchup in NBA history. Agree or disagree? Put it in the chat. We're going to throw it up right now. 1 through 5. 1, 2, 3. Josh at a 1. Zeke at a 1. Dave at a 5. Me, I'm at a 10. This is the most boring matchup. I'm sorry, I'm going to go first, man. This is the most boring matchup in NBA history.
That's a hater speaking.
No. This is just absolute snorefest.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, and this is coming from someone who's a Colts fan, but I understand the Colts are in a small market, man. Indianapolis, they don't even have this. Indiana don't even have a baseball team, bro. They're a small market. Oklahoma City doesn't have nothing besides basketball. These are small markets that you fly over to get to your destination. You're not taking vacations or trips to these places. Man, they got such a small fan base that nobody cares about them. This is a snore fest. You got to have at least Anthony Edwards. You got to have at least the New York Knicks, or nobody's going to care about your little NBA Finals. I'm sorry, don't nobody care. I understand you got Halliburton was rated the most overrated player. Now, he's proven a lot of people wrong. He's doing his thing. But he has the most punchable face in the NBA. Now that's me hating. That is definitely
not Christ-like.
That is not Christ-like. But I think it's factual. I think it's factual. Most punchable face. Fact check me in the comments. But bro, are we seriously talking about the Indiana Oklahoma City Finals? Like, I won't be watching that. Will you?
Yeah, it's real. What Fat Joe say is real, right?
I'm watching it every game.
Nah, man. That is going to have worse ratings than the Snow White movie. Let's just keep it real. It's going to be an absolute snorefest that no one will care about.
Not the Snow White movie.
Worse than the Snow White movie. No one will care about this.
Mm.
Josh, you voted a 1. I'll let you go next, man.
Let me go next.
Yeah, let him go. Yeah, get the 5s out of the way so the real people can talk.
Let me go, man.
No,
I'm gonna
this
tell
is the
you.
real people talking, man.
I'm gonna
No,
tell
this is
you.
Knicks
Okay,
fans. This is the hurt Knicks fans talking.
I gave it a 5, and for one reason and one reason only. It's not because I'm a Knicks fan. I knew we was doing when all of the memes started coming out, where they were putting, all the Knicks players' heads on like mafia characters from movies, and they were like acting like they were running things in New York and all that. I was like, we done, man. It's a wrap. We getting ready to lose because we got over. The fans just went bananas, and we got overconfident. The reason I'm a 5 on this, real quick, is because it's going to be the most boring. Uh, I don't know about it. I'll go out on a limb. It's going to be the most boring finals in NBA history. And for me, it's a travesty, not only because my team's not going to be in it, but because I try to eke out every ounce of every sport before that season ends for that sport. And I like to see sports overlap so that we don't have a situation where, okay, football is over. Now what's next? Well, baseball's not here. Spring training's not here yet. So we got to wait for the not the Indianapolis, for the Daytona 500, right? The Daytona 500 is what, like 2 weeks after the Super Bowl Z. So we have like that. We have that there's like a lapse in like where we don't have sports for like 2 weeks. I like to see those sports drag out. This right here, this series right here, nobody's going to watch it. There's going to be a lull there for basketball. I'm not watching the WNBA, even though I did watch the Fever and the Liberty game last Saturday, and it was dope. I'm not even going to front. It was great, and the refs ruined that game. However, the only reason that I'm barking on this is because I like to see sports overlap. And this takes basketball out of the equation for me. So the NBA season is going to end sooner for me rather than later. I'll have more time to watch baseball, but I would also like to be watching basketball too. So there you go. Floor is yours, Josh.
All right. Before I go, I gotta show some love to the comments. Scott Commodities 585 saying "Let's go Knicks in 7." New York is in the building. I'm sorry. Uh,
Not much longer.
not much
You
longer.
know what,
Give
Z?
it one more game. If the Thunder and Pacers would be in the finals this year, the NBA Finals would have worse ratings than the WNBA. Wow.
Yo,
Wow.
Just leave that up on the screen while you and Zeke do your takes, by the way.
Luckily for us, EV Mux automatically times out viewers' comments, so it comes
Oh.
off automatically as it should. But I'm just gonna put it this way, and I'm gonna throw something up there. These are the NBA stats for this year's, let's just call it offensive top rankings. You see all those highlights on there?
All right, Josh did some homework
That would
today.
be the Indiana Pacers and the Oklahoma City. Hey, I didn't want to give you guys the threes as I normally do, so I wanted to give you a little bit of a glimpse of what I can do in my research. But um, all of those highlights would be that of the Indiana Pacers or the OKC Thunder. Of the 32 teams in the NBA, they got the top 5 in a lot of these categories. Some of them both are in it. Assists per game, points per game, 3-pointers made per game. I mean, that's offense. Anybody watching sports wants to see a competitive game. And to me, whether you guys want to see those particular teams in the finals, I think it's actually opposite for the regular NBA fan. They are tired of seeing the same teams, the Lakers, the Golden State Warriors, the whoever else, because that's usually who's in there. They don't want to see the Boston Celtics who've got 90 trophies already. They want to see fresh young bloods get in there and showcase their talents. And for me, who better but to have the league MVP and Shea
say it.
Alexander,
SGA.
SGA, thank you.
You almost undermined your whole argument just now, bro.
SGA. And also, they want to see some of these young guds like your most punchable face guy come in and show his three-point ability.
Most punchable, man.
So here's where I stand. This whether you guys agree with it or not, these games in the finals, if history does prove itself, and we do have a Pacers OKC finals, this is going to be one of the fastest, most intense exchange of gameplay that we've seen in a while. It's not going to be just some blowout, and it could go all the way to Game 7. And I think that that's what NBA fans deserve and want, is to see high intensity, high 3-point shooting, high defensive, high offensive, full on out gameplay for a
Man,
finals closeout.
and we ain't spending that much time on this. Don't nobody care about it. Zeke, what you got, bro?
First of all, I just think it's funny that you say Halliburton has the most punchable face in the league, like Karl Anthony Towns doesn't play on your team. Um,
The cat.
but
Yo,
that dude
hey,
is.
Cat is too zesty to have the most punchable face, unfortunately.
It might be a hate crime. Anyway, um,
yo,
I think this is like calling this the most boring finals matchup potentially in NBA history is such a ESPN take, and I think it goes to prove what Chuck was saying all those months ago.
Yep. Good point.
All ESPN did was force feed LeBron and the Warriors.
Yep.
That's all they talked about.
Yep.
Meanwhile, Oklahoma City was number one in the conference all year. The Pacers had a good year. You had the Cavs, you had the Rockets, but all anybody ever got from that network was LeBron and the Lakers and Steph and the Warriors. So naturally, if they're not in the finals, nobody wants to watch. You're talking about, like, I could understand if Indiana was like an 8 seed, or if Indiana was the 10 seed that upset a couple people and had this Cinderella run. Indiana didn't suck this year. Indiana
Right.
was a good team this year.
Solid.
Oklahoma City has been the best team in the league all year. So why wouldn't this be for diehard basketball fans? I'm not talking about fanatics like people who wear orange and blue. I'm talking about diehard basketball fans, fans of the sport. This should be an interesting finals matchup. Like Josh said, you're getting new blood, you're getting fresh talent. We talked about it before. I think it was last week. Whoever wins this is going to be somebody young, somebody who could potentially be the face of the league. Now, I mean, I know everybody been pointing towards Ant-Man, and I really don't see nobody on the Knicks possibly being the face of the league. I can't see Jalen Brunson being the face of the league. Um, I maybe SGA. I see him in the commercial with Cat, and I don't know who I think it's Jalen Williams, where they're wearing those ridiculous outfits, but they're being pushed out there. They're being marketed by the league, so it's possible that SGA could take that crown. As maybe
who
not
would you
the
rather
face
see
of the
as face
league,
of the
but
league?
huh?
Who would you rather see as face of the league, Ant
Well, we
or?
talked about that last week.
Yeah,
Come
I'm not.
on.
I'm not. We're not
You
gonna
don't need
talk. I
you
mean,
don't need a face of the league when you got New York in the building, man. You got
but
New
see,
York.
that's the thing. Everybody, oh, I hate those conversations. Oh, the league is better when the Knicks are relevant. Screw the Knicks.
Oh,
Bro, the Knicks have never been relevant. That's the problem. They've never been
And
relevant.
the league has been just
When he was
fine
on the squad, you
without the
weren't
Knicks being
relevant.
relevant.
Bro, in one
So
of
we
our
good.
first podcasts, we're talking about how the league was not doing good. And this finals is going to make it worse. But I'm already done talking about NBA because it's baseball season, folks.
Oh, you
And
sound like me, pimp. I've been trying to tell y'all this baseball season for months, and nobody wanted to
well,
listen.
I'm just coming around to it, man. I'm
wait
just
a
coming
minute.
around to it.
Speaking of baseball season, Zeke, you wasn't here last week, were you?
I was here.
Now,
No,
I
you
Josh
was.
wasn't
wasn't.
here.
Josh, you weren't here.
Josh
That's
wasn't
right.
here.
Josh, you didn't see the graphic I put up.
No, I
Mets
missed it.
graphic.
I missed it.
You got it. You got it. Let's have a throwback.
I don't know,
No,
man.
that's why
I can't get it to
no,
fit. I can't get
no.
it to fit on the screen like
That's
Josh
why
can
we
do.
Let's
need
let's
Josh
let's
to
do
fill
way
in
back
certain
Wednesday.
I
because
got
he's
you.
a little bit more neutral, and we're all right. We're already done with the NBA playoffs
All right,
because
come on.
you know who's going to get eliminated? The NBA is going to get eliminated. It's not even the Knicks. The NBA is eliminated, that's we on to the next topic.
Chris, I got a
All right,
question.
huh,
What good would have done the league if the Knicks won the finals?
bro? A lot of good. You'd have had a
No, it
lot of
would have
happy
made you
people.
happy,
Nah,
but
nah,
the league
nah.
would have been no better or no worse if the Knicks won the final. Oh, snap.
Josh, I thought you was my boy, bro.
I still love you,
Thought
CP. I
Nah,
do.
nah.
I love you, Peasy.
That seems
Sweet
personal.
pea.
I
Took it
had
down real fast.
I
That seems
missed this.
personal.
I missed this. I can't. This is quality
No,
stuff. I
no,
can't miss
no.
on these types of things. I got to be up
This
to speed.
seems like a personal attack here. All right, we moving on. We moving on. Josh, throw up the next topic. We moving on.
I'm gonna have to pray for you on this one here.
Mental health. Oh, this is perfect. This is perfect because I need a mental health day right now after this conversation
Uh-huh.
about the NBA
I
playoffs.
knew it. It was coming.
Mental health day versus load management. Load management has become a popular yet polarizing concept in sports, especially in the NBA. Athletes should pay more attention to their mental health than their physical well being. All right, fellas, how do we feel about this? Throw them up 1 through 5 and 1, 2, 3. All right, we got Zeke at a 5, Josh at a 5. Oh man, we got Dave at a 3. I'm at a 1.
Kick it off, Peasy.
You really want me to kick this thing off?
Yep.
Low man on the
All right,
totem pole for the vote.
all right. Listen, I don't get no days off. I don't take no days off. Um,
I should have
they get
said
paid,
somebody else.
bro. They get paid a lot of money, and they can vacation a lot better than most of us out here can ever hope. When they vacation on them yachts and they got all those bottles and they don't have to worry about what the bill's gonna come back as, that's a real vacation. Because how many of y'all out there take a vacation and you're there like, yeah, that drink sounds good. Yeah, that food sounds good. And then the whole time you eating it, you just stressing. Well, you're on vacation, but you're stressing, waiting for that check to come. That's not that's not stress free, is it? But they could take a real stress free vacation. And they got a whole off season. They're like teachers where they get the summers off. We don't get no summers off unless you're a teacher. Like, bro, mental health days? No, no. As far as load management, no, no. You get paid to play. If you're healthy, you're playing. For me, my job is my voice. And so, like, as long as my voice works, it don't matter what part of the body don't work or how my head is feeling or my chest is feeling or whatever it may be. I'm going to work. My voice still works. And so, no, I don't agree with this. They need mental health day or load management or nothing like that. I understand being an athlete is tough, and I don't want to minimize that. There's a lot of stress and a lot of pressures that athletes come across, but I am not for load management one bit at all. Let's throw it to Zeke so we can have the most fiercest counteracting force we got coming back at this. Because I know you were at a 5, weren't you, Zeke?
Yes, sir. I was at a 5.
All right, let me
Um,
have it.
I, I'm not that guy. Stop trying to make me that dude. Let me have it.
Be that guy,
Um,
Zeke. Be that guy. Right
check
now.
this out. Like yes, they get paid lots of money to play a game, but they get paid lots of money because a lot of people are making way more money off their backs. All right. I'm tired of hearing about how much athletes get paid. We all
Well,
get
guess
paid
what? You're gonna
proportion.
hear it again soon.
Well, but here's the thing though, we all get paid proportionate to whatever we're worth to whoever we're working for, right? I
Well,
get a paycheck. Some people think I make too much money. Well, come do what I do and you'll make the same amount of money.
Yeah, okay.
So I mean, if we all had dreams. I'm guessing Josh might have had a dream one day to play professional sports. I don't know, but I know me and Peasy, we went to college thinking we were about to make it to the league. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I would have loved to be in a position to make millions of dollars and have people tell me that I make too much money to play ball, and I would have told them to get over it. But at the same time, like you see all these stories, and it's not just like the major sports with like the basketball, baseball, football. Mental health with athletes came to the forefront. I want to say back 2021. I don't know if you guys remember. Um, I'm gonna throw a name out there, Chris. Don't bark on me too hard, but Naomi Osaka, tennis player,
Mm-hmm.
um, she went kind of like rogue and backed out of a major tennis tournament because she had some beef with the media where she claimed that um the way the media was covering her was bad for her anxiety, and the tournament fined her for that because after her match, she didn't make herself available to the press. And the tournament fined her, and she was like, "Well, if that's going to be the case, I'll just withdraw from the tournament altogether and take a mental health break." And I think after that, she missed Wimbledon. I remember that. She took a nice little break, and then there was Simone Biles, who in the Olympics. This is something that you train your whole life for as a gymnast. Your top goal is to be an Olympian, and she has some mental health issues, and she said, "You know what? For the sake of the team, I'm going to back out. I'll be here to support you guys, but I'm not going to be on the mat. I'm going to take this break and focus on my mental health." And it was very polarizing because of the, oh, people invested all this money in you. You need to make yourself available. You need to be out there on the mat. You need to be out there on the court. What do you need a mental health day for? You're a professional athlete. You're making all this money. At the end of the day, they're still humans.
Mhm.
Jaron Duran, he's a young superstar for the Boston Red Sox. Um, he talked about back when he was coming up through the minors, and when he had his first taste of Major League Baseball, and he was struggling, and it got to the point where you combine the fact that he was struggling, so he was hard on himself, and then he's hearing the heckling from the fans, and he's seeing the way the media is covering him through these struggles. My man wanted to commit suicide.
Like literally.
Like, that's how bad it got for him. And I'm reading this story. I'm like, my man is living my dream. Like, I would love to be in his shoes, to be on TV, making all-star teams, and being a superstar and playing the game that I love and getting paid handsomely for it. He's living my dream. And not that long ago, maybe 3, 4 years ago, he was thinking about ending it all just because of the stress on his mentals. And it made me think, like, we see players take days off because, oh, I want to make sure I'm available in the playoffs. Load management, that's what they call it. It became popular in the NBA, especially with the king, quote unquote. But
Can I
yeah.
just say something here, Zeke? Because I would say the main difference, and this is why I respect what Naomi Osaka did, because she's a tennis or yeah, she's a tennis star. And
Hmm.
so, like, you don't like these baseball and basketball players have contracts that they have in advance. A lot of us don't have contracts. Some of us do, most of us don't. But those
Okay.
contracts are based on entertainment. And those entertainment is based on a schedule of games that people attend to see you entertain. So that's the difference I would make. By removing herself, she's only hurting her own pocket. But I would take
Not
this, and if you
necessarily, because she's got sponsors and everybody that
Endorsements.
invested money
Yep.
for her to get there. So if
Even
she's not out
even
there,
worse, even worse though, Zeke. Because if Gatorade is your sponsor, right? Let me just throw this in here real quick, and this is a part of
okay,
my, and I'll let y'all get back to it. Gatorade is she's a spokesperson for Gatorade, right?
okay,
Mhm.
What's Gatorade's tagline?
Is it in you?
Is it in you?
mm-hmm,
Obviously, it's not in Naomi Osaka because she
Oof.
can't even handle not even the questions. She can't handle how they're writing about her, bro. Is it in her? No, it's not. She made $60 million in 2021. 60 mil. And most of it was off endorsements, meaning that there's people that are paying her to be the face of their brand. She can't handle how the media is questioning her or framing her or making her look. Her people failed her because her people haven't trained her, gotten her media training, and said, "You got to know how it's going to roll out. You're a tennis star. You know you're going to get interviewed. You know that they're not going to throw you alley oops. They're not going to throw you lobs." So she had to have known this was going to happen to her.
see,
So
here's the thing though. Like, we got to remember when she made her big leap into stardom, her big breakout was beating Serena Williams,
yeah,
and she got flack for that. Like, she felt bad
yeah,
because, like, the media, it wasn't about her winning, it was about Serena losing. And like, it did something to her where she felt bad for, like, actually going out there and beating this legend
Eating, yeah.
because she was getting booed by the by the fans at the stadium. Like you
I
go
feel
out
the
there
same
and
way
you
about
you
Serena
achieve
too.
this major feat and you're getting booed because of who you beat. Like that was her push into that was her introduction into stardom. That would suck. Like that's like going out there and say, all right, for some by some strange happenstance, I'm in the final rounds of the Masters paired with Tiger Woods, and I beat him. And nobody's cheering for me because they wanted Tiger to win. Like
Yeah,
that would do something to me, man.
I would say a lot of that also lands on Serena's lap because of the way that she behaved herself after she lost. I felt like she threw.
No, Serena propped her up and supported Naomi. She saw
Not
Naomi
originally,
crying and
not initially. I felt like she threw a tantrum during that match, but that's taking this into a different direction.
Hmm.
What do you think is causing these mental health that is becoming more and more necessary in our day and age? Because mental health breaks
Controversy.
are seem to be increasingly needed, right? And what do you think to this? Do you think it's corresponding to anything that we're seeing in the culture as far as the decline of Christian values in American society?
no,
Spiritual warfare.
I think it has more to do. Was that to a specific person or was just this out there? Because I know I've been
No,
talking a lot and we
I
still
was going
got
to throw it to Dave. Yeah,
go ahead,
because
Dave.
So I personally think that I don't think it really has anything to do with that per se. But I what I do think it has to do with is that preparedness, right? So the game isn't the same. The sports game isn't the same as when Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, Dominique Wilkins, Jordan, when they all broke in, right? No social media, no instant access to the athletes, right? But you have that now, and you got Jaron Duran, right? Um, in baseball, the fans are right on top of the game. They can heckle, and talk to the players while they out playing defense and all that stuff. They have that access. Then you turn around and this person is got a podcast, right? This athlete's got a I'm not saying Jaron Duran. I'm just saying like the typical athlete has a podcast. Um, is appearing on other people's podcasts, right? Or they're on social media. They're on IG, chopping it up with fans. They're on X, chopping it up with fans. Facebook, not so much, but X and Instagram. And you got to take the good with the bad. There's people out there that love you and are praising you and leaving all these great comments, and then there's people that are being jerks, right? So when the fans have that type of access to you, you can't really police how they're going to act. You're going to get people that love you, and they're going to get people that can't stand you. That's going to play on your mental because you're like, I do everything right, but these people they still don't like me. What am I doing? What? And then if you already know that you're dealing with some inner demons and you have some things that you're dealing with, that's a Molotov cocktail, man. That's like, you know what I'm saying? That's spark to gasoline. You can't mix the two. So I don't think athletes today, I don't think the teams that they surround themselves with are protecting them enough from these things. They should be saying no to these athletes a lot more when they want to get into these different ventures and they want to get into these different lanes. Their people need to wrangle them and say no. That's not a good look. That's not a good idea. Let your PR team handle that. I know you want to be close to the fans, but we do meet and greets and stuff like that. Do it through your charity event. I just think that there's so much of a desire now for athletes to be close to their fans and show their fans that they're approachable and that they're real, and they put themselves in a lot of bad positions. Again, I'm not saying that about Jaron Duran because he was dealing with some things that were off-field things that he had to deal with every day and bring them to the office per se, and then on top of having a bad day or at the plate, he's dealing with fans, that are heckling him and then throwing jabs at him and stuff, and then the home stuff, as well. So I think that if more athletes shielded themselves from social media is not that thing, man. It's not. I think you get athletes that get lucky. They get a fan base that really adores them, and they're able to kind of be shielded away from the hate and stuff like that. But there's people out there that they can't, and they can't take it, man.
So for a
So
little context, Jared Duran, for those out there, he's a Boston Red Sox player that was notable only because he started, you know, spreading the news to the public that he was suicidal, even at one point in his career, and they were applauding him for his courageous confession, right? And so, but I mean, tell me what you think, Josh. I mean, do you kind of buy into that? That maybe mental health breaks are becoming increasingly needed just because of decline of Christian values in our society?
Yeah, I could get on that board. I think if people understood people, right? Going back to Zeke's whole notion of people being people, whether you're a sports superstar getting paid bazillions or you're the man on the street begging for a couple bucks, we're all people. We're all created in God's image, right? And we all deal with this carnal flesh and the things that come about day to day. So yes, I could say absolutely a decline in a Christ centric um, um, atmosphere, a Christ centric um, world. Honestly, is a big key factor for this. Um, and then going back into that, for me, seeing mental health days more important than load management days, I would agree with this statement that we should be paying more attention to mental health days. Um, Not only should we be paying more attention to the mental health days, but we have to be making sure that as we take our mental health days, that we're seeking godly counsel and not just some random counsel that's going to fluff our head and make us feel good about ourselves. We have to be searching for truth, right? I just went to a conference with my father-in-law's church, and the conference was labeled "The Truth and Transparency," right? And the big focus was how the church today, church in quotations today, um, focuses more on telling what feels good rather than the truth.
that's
And a
right.
lot of times the truth hurts, right?
Yep.
And the purpose
Yeah.
for that hurt is for us to grow, come out of this pride centered view of ourselves and put ourselves back into a Christ centric view, one of servitude, one of of giving rather than receiving. And so I do believe that our world has veered so far away from the truth and more into a line of I'm telling my own truth rather than the truth, that we're focusing so hard on the mental health that we're missing the point that we need to get back to a truth-centered answer for those times where we run into difficulty, when we come into um, ideas of ourselves based off of what other people are saying, right? We have to be centered and focused and rooted and grounded on truth, who our creator says we are, rather than what somebody else tells us who we are.
Amen to that, brother. All right. Well, tell us what you think in the chat. Let's go to our roundup. What do we got in the roundup today, fellas?
See,
The
Yeah,
GOAT.
Jordan, the GOAT.
Get it.
said
Yeah,
it
Jordan to be
and did it.
special contributor for the NBA on NBC.
I'm
That's
looking forward. I'm looking forward to seeing that. I would love to get his take on today's style of basketball. I hope he's not like muted or censored too much. Let Mike be Mike. Let
Yeah,
him say
let
what he
him
got to say.
yeah, bring out
yeah. I
his
think it'll be
natural
interesting.
man.
I think the appeal of Mike is that I think he was, as crazy as it sounds, he comes across as a little bit more humble than LeBron was or is.
Absolutely.
Because LeBron, he beats his chest. He wants that GOAT. He wants that king title. Jordan is always very deferential,
Hmm.
and I think that's part of the reason why people rush to to place him on that route Mount Rushmore. Because if you ask Jordan who the GOAT is, he probably wouldn't say himself. Now, if you
He
ask
never
him,
has.
Now, if you ask him who he thinks is the best when he's on the court, or if anybody could beat him,
Yeah.
he's gonna say
That's
is no,
different.
ain't nobody gonna beat me. But if you
Mhm.
ask him who's the best of all time, he's gonna be very differential, and he's not gonna say he's gonna give credit to the people that were before him. I haven't really heard him give credit to the people that were after him, but he's gonna give credit to the people that were before him. But we don't see
Well, he
LeBron.
loved Kobe.
He did.
He did love Kobe.
Kobe
He
was
did
his
love
boy, man. That was his mirror, man.
Kobe.
That dude. You watch some side by side clips on YouTube of the two of them in their play styles.
You could just merge them back and forth, and
For
it'd be
sure.
seamless.
Dub them over the top, and they're like spitting images.
Yep.
Dope.
Dave, you got anything that you wanted to rage about? Add? I think Dave
Nah,
might be.
man, about Mike being on TV.
No, just any a weekly roundup, anything.
What's got you mad this
Uh,
week, Dave?
huh? What's got me mad? Oh my gosh, don't get me started, bro.
Uh-oh.
Uh, here's one thing I wanted to talk about, man, that we didn't add on here, but Travis Hunter and his fiance got married this week,
Mm.
and
Congrats to him.
there's I just want to put this out there, man, because there's been a lot said about Travis Hunter and his fiance, and
No wife.
how immature she is, and she's only after his money and all of this stuff. At the end of the day, um, Travis Hunter loves his fiance, man, and regardless
His
of
now
what
wife.
we now wife, yeah, and regardless of what we may think of, what we see in the media, we don't live with that young man, and we don't know what their relationship is like outside of the cameras and things like that. So when we hear about a young brother like that is going into a career path where he's going to have a plethora of people telling him yes more times than he asks a actual question. They're gonna, people are gonna be laying at his feet, giving him whatever he wants. Um, there are gonna be women all over him trying to get in his bag, and for him to commit himself to his fiance, now wife,
Mm-hmm.
prior to taking on this journey, it says a lot about that young man that he committed to her,
Yeah.
and that knowing, what he was about to face in the league. So I just applaud him, man, for stepping up and for actually, making a wife out of this young lady that he's been dating. And I wish that more brothers would step up, and kind of just like flush out all the noise, man, and just like uh, go take your stuff, take your situation to God, man. The God only God knows. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're doing things in the right way, and you're making a union with this person, in God's eyes, and doing it in His name, there's nothing but blessings that could come from that. So I just wish them the best, man. I hope that people stay out of their business and just kind of just let them live, man. And whatever happens, happens. But at the end of the day, it's their business. And I'm glad that, I'm glad that he is a married man now, and I hope people just leave him alone.
Yeah. It's good.
All right. You guys got anything to chime in on that?
No, I kind of actually want to. I shouldn't say no then. Yes, I kind of want to add a little bit to it. Thinking about like the media and what people have to say, right? Did you guys see that whole Stephon Diggs video that everybody was talking about right now, where he's on the boat and he's got some pink baggy substance that all the girls are like, "Oh, let me have it," and now they're talking about looking into this. Like, all right, we don't know what that is. There's like a full investigation now. Uh,
Yeah.
So for those who didn't see the video, was the bag pink or was the substance
The
pink?
substance inside the bag, I guess, was pink. I didn't see the video. I just saw a clipping of it and like someone else discussing about it. And
What kind of
so
substance do we know is pink in color?
I
Maybe.
Cotton candy.
yeah, I think it's gonna be more like pills of some sort or
Okay.
some sort of
The M word.
yeah. I really don't know, to be honest. but there's a big discussion about it. Vrabel actually had to speak on it to the media. And so going back to what Dave was talking about, how you have the media and you have fans and you have these people watching your every move when you're in a position of stardom, you're always in the eye of the paparazzi. You have to be smart, right?
Yeah.
You have to watch yourself. You have to know that with every little move, something could potentially interrupt your pocket, right? And so I do agree that it's very noble of Travis Hunter to marry his girlfriend, right? And now that the world can potentially be just thrown at him, it's even more noble for him to marry this woman and be committed to her going into his career, and hopefully, he can look past all the distractions that are going to come his way. But on the side of Diggs, right? It's almost like a double-edged sword. Like if it wasn't for the media, and I know some people's takes are what people do on their own time is what they do on their own time. But if it wasn't for the media, would we have these discussions about some potentially disheartening actions from these notable players, notable people out in the fields that are being basically, idolized by some kids coming up, hoping that could be the next NFL star, right? I'm not really sure what my question would be, but it's more so a statement of it. It goes hand in hand, and for me, I would just, if I was in that boat, if I was that guy, I would be very cautious with the things that I do, the things that I say, and the places that I go, and the people that I'm around.
Yeah, and so let me just add to this too. So here's another thing, man. Just an extra layer to this. Okay, I have no doubt that Prime was in Travis Hunter's ear, telling
Mm,
him, make sure you do this, make sure you do the right thing, make sure your house is in order. You've been with this young lady, make sure you marry her, right? The whole city of Jacksonville, man, everybody involved with Jacksonville has just been praising this young man's, singing this young man's praises, right?
mm-hmm.
Then you look at Stephon Diggs, who played ball here in Buffalo. He was in Minnesota. It seems like everywhere he's been, he's kind of like worked his way out of that situation, right? And not for nothing, you talking about possibly fumbling the bag. This kid has a 3-year, I think $69 million deal with $26 million guaranteed. And if he ends up getting himself in trouble with this whole situation, it may be just like null and void. And one last point, I don't know if you guys saw the video where they did this thing where they went around the locker room when he was in Minnesota. They went around the room and they asked the guys in the locker room. One teammate was interviewing the other teammates, and they said, "Who on the team would you least likely want your sister to date?" Who do you think they said?
Yeah, I saw that one. They voted Stephon Diggs. Yeah.
Everybody voted Stephon Diggs, and it wasn't even a joke. It was mad. It was random.
Wow.
So
Goes to show what his character is like.
it's about character, man. It's all about
Absolutely.
character, bro.
Well, guys, we are out of time. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that like and
Chris,
subscribe.
Chris, I don't like how you keep avoiding my boy in the weekly roundup, man.
There's
Oh
no
yeah,
other thing down there.
it is.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, Cunha, that's La Bestia.
Come on,
Man,
man. He
hit the
did that
button,
on purpose,
Josh.
man.
Like and
Bro,
subscribe. Check in with us next week, y'all. 9
bro,
o'clock Wednesdays.
but he's
God
not a
bless.
beast.
Good night. Push the button.
He's not even a beast.
Oh my, yeah. Let's get
Oh,
that
well, he's
music
much
rolling,
more of a beast than your $765 million man.
Come on, we got a
Hey,
minute. Let's
do,
go.
do we
Give it
talk
to
Go
us,
about
C.
ahead.
third place
Close
teams
us out. Close us
on
out.
this podcast? Do we
bro. Check
do
it
we
out.
talk about
Close us
third
out.
place teams on this podcast? I don't
Close
know.
us out.
All right, guys, make sure you hit that like and subscribe. We'll be here same time next week, 9 p.m. And hey, we appreciate you guys. Opps SportsCast. See you next week.
Out.
Peace.
Deuces.